Hey Gemini, this is Perrymore Tarot's daily reading for June 10th, 2024. This is for Gemini. Last shuffle coming out for Gemini. So we have great gratitude and we have courage. So this tells me that there's something about an awareness, a mindset of being grateful that you're in the position you're in, boldly grateful too. Like, oh, I'm so glad it's not me. I'm sorry, this is funny. I'm so glad that's not my story, like, kind of thing you tell somebody. But being openly grateful, it kind of seems, because the energy of courage is like, I normally would never say this. I normally would never act this way, especially with Six of Cups. That's like, in the past, I was this, I was not as brave. Or maybe you were brave in the past, and now it's like, now you have to be brave. Ooh, you got course corrected. Your direction got shifted. The Chariot's headed in a direction, but death would mean that the direction is ended and you're going in a different way. Like, you were going straight and then you just stopped on a dime and was like, let me go, southeast instead, or like, I'm going north, and you're just like, let me go on an offshoot of northeast or something, forking off somewhere. Great gratitude is Death, Chariot, Moon, and Page of Wands. This talks, ooh, gosh. So there's an awareness. Some of you are following a path that is completely led by, like, your intuition. And I say like a lot. I apologize. It seems as though you're headed in a direction that's led by your intuition. You just have a feeling. Some of you may have planned, excuse me, some of you may have planned for things to go a certain way, but those plans have definitely changed. And now this is no longer plans. This is like going by your intuition completely. What you know to be true, what's naturally inside of you. Courage is Six of Cups and Six of Pentacles. I'm so sorry about my throat. I did drink some water really quick because I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Courage with Six of Cups and Six of Pentacles. Definitely being bold and brave about how, something about you wanting to be remembered, how you want to be remembered. It's like, as you have courage and like your exchange, it almost looks like you've gotten an invitation. Some of you may be invited to something, and you may be grateful that it's like, for some of you, an anonymous invitation. You don't know who sent this to you. Being invited to something and saying, I'm going to go. Being bold and brave. For some of you, this would be rekindling a relationship. Could be with a friend. Saying, fine, I'll just go. Being grateful that your plans have changed. Some of you maybe have already made some plans and maybe not really too enthused or too enthusiastic about going. Then you get an invitation, some of you anonymously. And then rekindling something or contributing to it, finally reciprocating. Some of you may have been like leaving someone on red, and then finally saying, fine, I'll show up. The deception is the Knight of Wands and Knight of Wands and Nine of Wands. Well, the deception would be that this is going to degenerate into an argument. There may be a lot of triggering things occurring when it comes to you and this other person or other people. Some of you, this could be family, but I see friends. I even see a lover that maybe you feel as though is a player or plays too many games or isn't as consistent or isn't motivated to be consistent. Uh, Not by you, it has nothing to do with you, but this may, it just seems like this will be an argument. Like the deception would be that when we have this conversation or meet up, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a fight. That's the deception. It's not going to be a fight then. If that's the deception, something that someone may say can be taken completely out of context. That's also a deception. What someone says versus what they meant. But it's, yeah, the transformation is Eight of Swords and the Hermit. When you're alone, you'll be able to dissect or decipher what people meant by what they said. Today's a day that could be completely misunderstood, misinterpreted, lots of that going on. Lots of moments of clarity when alone. But they're speaking about you. Some of you need to not think too deeply into something that's said. Because the transformation with Hermit and Eight of Swords would say, when I'm alone, I'm picking apart a conversation. I'm picking apart what one said, what they could have meant by that. And that's typically the assumptions. And with the Eight of Swords, there's an inclination to assume that someone meant the worst possible meaning of whatever was done. But the transformation with the Hermit tells me that when you're alone, you're able to apply wisdom to the situation and change direction. You know, you're able to look at it and go, yeah, well, I mean, that's not what they said, though. These are the actual words. Instead of taking it as an argument or a problem, although that is very ripe. It's very easy to be misunderstood today. It's very easy for you to misunderstand things, people today, but you're definitely going to be misunderstood too. Be grateful that you got plans, or you don't have to be like, you have somewhere to be, you have something to do, or be grateful that, I think the gratitude will come from being mysterious. No one really knows what you do, your schedule, what time you got to be at work, what time you got to be here or there. You can easily be like, oh man, I got to run. And there's almost an energy of being brave enough to see your contribution to the situation and what you may have, not saying you did anything, but what, paying attention to the exchange and then going, okay, when I said that, they probably thought I meant that. That's why they said this. Got it. Ah, okay. You know what I mean? Not that it's your fault, but perception and interpretation are two different. You know what I mean? It's two different things, and each are valid, right? Because the way someone perceives something is quite valid. Understanding is very, everyone talks about communication, but comprehension is a very important component to communication. You can communicate all day. I can speak English to someone who does not understand English. We communicate it. We don't understand each other, but you could be dealing with a Cancer, a Scorpio. Cancer is really strong. Virgo. We also have Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So you could be a Gemini, Cancer cusp, right? You could be dealing with a Cancer, Leo cusp, Leo, Virgo cusp, and Scorpio, Sagittarius cusp. If we're not dealing with those signs could also be in your chart. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, my links are on my page. Peace, love, and light. Take care.